Where one season kicks off a new era, another one is set to close the book. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Michigan International Speedway and to Saturday night action for the SRA NasClassic Series. My name is Ola Rempel alongside Derek Watson, bringing you all of racing action from the final 200-mile run. It's the ARCA Blitz 200. Derek, it's Michigan, it's ARCA cars, it's going to be tightly packed together, it's going to be clustered, it's going to be chaotic, and all of this with a major championship battle brewing in the middle of it.
Yeah, there's so many ways to express tonight, right? When one door closes, another door opens, referring to next season up in 2 weeks. But the one I keep thinking about is the more things change, the more they stay the same. What I mean by that, Nolan, is that this points battle keeps getting closer and closer, but still somehow it keeps being an advantage of Zane Bailey.
Zane Bailey, as always, just like he has in the Truck Series, has managed to cling on to the final bits of the championship by consistency alone. He has gotten 9 top 10s on the season, 8 top 5s, and 1 race win. And of course, his results this season have been nothing to shrug off, right? He has only finished outside of the top 10 4 times, and on those runs where he has finished in the top 10, which again, 9 top 10s, his worst finish in the top 10, 6th place. He has been extremely consistent all season long. Even though he's only got 1 win to his name, that consistency is paying off for him this season. Dalton Kilgore, on the other hand, he's gotten more top 10s, and he's gotten 4 wins to his name. But that said, the finishes where he's been finishing outside of the top 10 have been devastating hits to him. He has not held the same consistency. Could that do him in this afternoon?
Yeah, also that missed week for Kilroe probably means a lot. So this is going to be close. This is a 2-way battle for the title, but look down the points. There's still lots of battles. Gudger and Witt 1 point apart, Mark Arthur just a few points behind them. So 4, 5, and 6 is up for grabs. I mean, heck, 3, 4, 5, 6 is up for grabs. So lots of great point battles left here tonight. And of course, Nolan will be off next week for their SRA series, and then they're going to start their Gen 4 series 2 weeks from tonight. So like I said, while one door is going to close, another one's going to open pretty quickly.
Oh, for sure. And of course, initially, this series was meant to be on those Gen 4 cars. Of course, it changed to the ARCA car when iRacing announced they were going to be releasing the Gen 4 cars later on down the line. So they decided to run with the ARCA cars for the NasClassic Series season. And, well, we'll get to see 900 horsepower worth of machinery taking flight for us in 2 weeks' time. But for tonight, it's back to Michigan, right? We've got a track that has long been home to some of the most exciting races on the channel. The wind, non-existent virtually, only 5 miles an hour blowing off to the east. The track temp is going to be what drivers are contending for this afternoon. 111 degrees Fahrenheit on the racing surface is going to make this a treacherous surface to race on.
Yeah, the temperature may be hot, the stress is going to be high, but the amount of grip in the track will not be. This will be a very, very loose version of Michigan. I would watch the corners out of 2 and 4. These cars could snap around, and that's going to be kind of odd to see because, you know, Nolan, typically these cars, these ARCA cars, get a lot of grief from the drivers about how typically tight the setups are as a whole. But I bet tonight, with that 111-degree track temp, that's not exactly the case.
No playoffs, no chase, no gimmicks. It's just go big or go home. Critically, one of the bonus points that was on offer tonight that could factor into that championship, Derek, was the bonus point for starting on pole position here this afternoon. That point awarded to Kyle Wellman. So that is 1 point that is now off the table for both Kilroe and Bailey. Going to make it that much harder for Kilroe to close that gap.
Yeah, so basically what we're looking at for the rest of the night is, can either of them lead a lap? That'll be worth a point. And it can either of them lead the most laps of the race. That would be worth a point. Otherwise, it's pure spots here. So lots to talk about. Lots will go on tonight. Heck, lots went on last week we didn't talk about. I kind of want to touch on the topic real quick here as qualifying is, gridding is just getting started here. You know, when we went up the air last week, we thought Cody Gibson had won the race, Nolan. When we went off the air last week, that's how we thought we stood, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that was not the case. Cody Gibson was deemed by race control to have jumped the restart. All restarts and starts happen on the green flag in SRA, and he jumped it, so he went from first to last on the lead lap post-broadcast.
A critical mistake for Cody Gibson. He'll try to get some redemption this afternoon as he starts in 5th. We'll find out who starts elsewhere on the grid as we get set to go race with the ARCA Blitz 200. Kyle Wellman will start this race from pole position and only one foul off the mark. And it's Mark Arthur in the number 12 started alongside him on the front row. First of our championship contenders starts in 4th with Dalton Kilroe. To his inside is going to be Tanner Marr, only 6th thou off of your pole sitter. And right behind Dalton Kilroe, his main competition, Zane Bailey, looking set to try to hold on to that points lead entering tonight. And of course, last week's quote-unquote winner unofficially got dropped back to the tail of the lead lap. Cody Gibson will be starting this race from 5th. Row number 4 going to hold Larry Bell alongside Aaron May. And the top 10 is closed out by Cody Witt and Cole Snyder.
Going to move back into P11 here. You're going to find Ryan Wayne there in that number 38 car back in P11. Still only about 1/10 of a second off a pole, by the way. And then John Holiday back in P12 in a 9 car. Move back here and you find Michael D. Campbell in a 72 next to the 5, John Bowalda Jr. Moving back into P15, you're going to find Thomas Lane, league admin. He's next to Mike Campbell in the 71. Moving back here into P17, you'll find William McKellar. And then Stellar McKellar, as he was called last week by George Karafidas, next to Gavin Austin and then number 62. And then at P19 is going to be Paul Witt, and he is next to Joshua Burke in P20.
21st place, then, it's going to be the likes of Michael Gudger. Did not put down a qualify lap alongside Ted Rekich. From there, it's Chase McGuire. That brings it up in 23rd for the Kinetic number 63. I believe making his SRA debut here this afternoon. He starts alongside George Rincon. From there, back of the grid, it's going to be Kevin Roy and Jim Coleman'sberger to close out the field. So some returning names, some new ones entering this grid here this afternoon. And of course, the big story going to be Dalton Kilroe and Zane Bailey starting 4th and 6th, one right behind the other. But critically, Zane Bailey's already starting this race on the back foot as his main rival is 2 spots in front of him.
There's a lot of stories to cover. The main one, of course, being the points title. That's probably the one we're going to hit on the most tonight. But a few other stories. Obviously, a redemption race for Cody Gibson, I believe, is in the books after having that win strip last week. Can one of the newer drivers who we don't see come in and kind of gain momentum for the next season? Can someone maybe stick out and just have a good time? Really, there's 2 styles of racing going on tonight, I think, Nolan. If you are Zane Bailey or Kilroe, you're racing for points. You're racing for a title. If you are anyone else, Kyle Wellman, Mark Arthur, Tanner Marr, Larry Bell, anyone, you are racing to win. That's the whole goal tonight, is to win this race at all costs, right? You don't have to worry about pit strategy. You don't need to worry about points. You don't need to worry about anything else. You're worried about winning.
Well, the field going to work their way into turn numbers 3 and 4. Derek, obviously it's hard to pick a driver to win a race here in Michigan with these ARCA cars. Anybody on a favor there to win the title?
Oh, the title, I mean, I think it's in Zane Bailey right now. I know Kilroe is a superstar in the ARCA cars, and I don't take anything away from him. But I think Zane Bailey is a great race manager. I like Bailey to win the title. I'm going to say Cody Gibson comes back and takes that win back and celebrates correctly and rightfully this time at Michigan.
Well, we're happy you're joining us for racing action here on this fantastic Saturday night as we get set to close out yet another chapter here of the SRA NasClassic Series. The green flag's out. It's go, go, go for the final chapter at Michigan. Coming around out of turn numbers 3 and 4, Dalton Kilroe leaning on the door of Mark Arthur, trying to go to the top spot in this one, and it's going to be Arthur that leads the way at the end of lap number 1 as the field takes off down towards the opening corner.
Look at Dalton Kilroe up to P2, trying for P1. It's going to dig down in that corner. Now, this is a multi-groove racetrack, Nolan. That means there's a car down pit road. That's a 63. I was going to say this means this multi-groove track means there's multiple ways to get around here. There's multiple correct ways. Another car down pit road. Are these penalties being served? I'm not sure what's happening. We'll see if we can follow up on that. Wow.
Chase McGuire with a lot of damage on the left-hand side. I think those 2 drivers may have come together, but up front, the big story, Zane Bailey is looking to take over the race lead as he is swept around Dalton Kilroe.
Point Bailey. Remember I said bonus points, leading a lap and leading the most laps. So right now Bailey has technically 2 points, you could say. He has led the lap and currently would have led the most laps so far if he leads one more. But here's right ahead of Kill Road. There's a car in the grass. That's one of the cars off of pit road. I think though, and what I was trying to get to a second for those cars coming on pit road, Nolan, that 12 of Arthur, that 40 up there, they have the advantage, I would say, because the top lane typically drives better at Michigan. There's less wheel input, less chance of that car snapping around. It's easier, you have momentum, but right now, ironically, it's Kilrow trying to push Bailey to the front, and that's kind of weird since they're both racing for the same title.
We'll take a real quick look on what happened to Chase McGuire and Ted Reckish. This is coming around in the turn numbers 3 and 4, and wow, I mean, the 63 just washes up and goes hard into the outside wall. Not sure what happened to McGuire's car.
That looks technical.
It kind of does, doesn't it? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
Looks...
The Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series earlier today actually had, count them, 3 separate hardware wheel failures. Have we just got 4 in one day?
Yeah, that looks too weird to me. That wasn't, I mean, that's not typically a car snapping. Typically cars at Michigan, snap down the hill, right? With the banking of the track, that's just kind of the way the science works on it. There's a new fastest lap for Michael Campbell. Not a bonus point, by the way, in this league. As of right now, Zane Bailey has fallen back, as has Dalton Kilrow. It's Mark Arthur back to the front. There we see a couple new names. We can see Zane Bailey up there, Tanner Marr, Cody Gibson's up there, Kilrow and Wellman. This is going to be a good fight now. As we saw those times so close together in qualifying when they were all single cars, this is the kind of racing I expect to see most of the night. When you're that close in qualifying in single cars, it means you're going to live under a blanket, under a canopy, under a tarp, whatever word you want to use, on track. I mean, look at this here. These top 10, 15 cars all within about 1 second of one another.
Arthur trying to pull away as Zane Bailey almost being trapped side by side with Tanner Moore, but with him getting clear, he's going to run down Arthur quickly, but look down to the inside is Mike Campbell. He's going to go into the inside wall big time, and the caution is going to come out. Now, typically, that would not be a yellow flag in Michigan, right, Derek? But with this new rescan, the caution sensitivity of this place has been turned up to the max. So I'm more than willing to bet that's iRacing Pro.
Yeah, and and I don't hate it in a weird way. I know you and I have had this talk, and I know we feel a little different. I don't hate it. Yes, I understand that in sim racing, we're not used to that being yellow because it's quote-unquote off track. But as we get into the discussion of this is a sim, that wouldn't be a caution in real life, right? You can't have a car going down the hill like that, or let's watch what's going to happen. He's going to come up a little bit. Is he just going to snap out of the corner? Or gets up the track a little bit. No, he just maybe a little bit of dad air, maybe a little bit of netco, but that car, I think it has snapped on its own. That happens at Michigan. And oh boy, if he'd have been maybe 6 inches more later on that, he might have gotten away with hitting nothing. But I know a lot of drivers, watch this again here, let's see what's going to happen. This 3 wide, and I think maybe just was yanking on the wheel too hard to avoid the car up top and probably snapped that car around. But I know as sim racers we're not used to that, but if you think about real life NASCAR at Michigan, a car going down the banking like that, down the back straight, hitting a wall, would be a yellow. So I don't hate it as much. Here's a fake out by Mark Arthur. I know we're close to NFL football season. That was a juke.
About half the field looking like wanting to come down pit road, the other half staying out. Okay, never mind. It's a bit more than a half coming down pit road here. Right now, the top 8 going to stay out here as Zane Bailey comes in.
Dalton Kilrow does not. I know we're going to hit that point a lot tonight.
Let the games begin.
Yeah, right. And this is the thing. This is not a tire stop, I would think. It's only very quick for Bailey. This is a fuel stop. So what you're hoping for if you're Zane Bailey is that this goes green forever, basically. That this becomes a fuel race. And then you have 7, 8 laps of green flag racing, better fuel than Dalton Kilrow, and you're hoping somehow that works out when all is said and done. That's what you're really hoping for. Now, the downside to that move by Zane Bailey is you sort of put yourself back in the hornet's nest, back in the scary part of the ride, so to speak. And so now you're a little bit at the out of control. You're a little bit at just the behest of everyone else around you. The deeper you get in the field, the more likely you are to find something you don't want to find.
I want to kind of touch on that point you're making with, you know, how this would be a caution in the real world. You know, to an extent, I don't hate it for that reason either. The thing where it kind of irks me is how it's not consistent from track to track. You know, like, you know, Michigan, yeah, that's a caution. Home State, that would be a caution as well. Meanwhile, just
Daytona, Talladega, Pocono, you're correct. Not cautions there.
Well, I mean, heck, Charlotte Motor Speedway a few days ago, we had a crash, right, where we had 4 cars that were sliding sideways on the racetrack in the quad oval. One of them was facing backwards in the middle of traffic. Caution never got thrown. Like,
yes, correct.
Why is it a caution here when he's so far off the track, but it's not a caution? Like, that's where it gets me, the consistency. There is no consistency right now on iRacing. That is something that, in my opinion, they have to get a handle on, because
I agree.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to
that
you can't rely on it.
Yeah, lap 71, I think, of the High Tide Racing League on Monday night was a wild wreck. That
it
was wild that it never came to be a caution. Well, this is the first caution, and so right now the lights on the pace car out. We're going to go read this time by. I wonder, as a driver, Nolan, what did Mark Arthur learn? What did Tanner Marr learn? That's my question as a driver. What did I learn from that first run, right? I kind of wore off the tires, so now they're a little older than the first time, but what line do I prefer? Who do I trust to push me? Who do I not want to be around? What, you know, all those things. That should be kind of a quick test for some of these drivers to kind of get in their groove here. So if we can get out here and stay green, we'll see who learned what and how well they did. But right now, as of this moment, if the race were to end now, which is not going to, Dalton Kilroe, I believe, would be your champion, because Zane Bailey's back in P9, P10.
On the field, going to get set to roll out, and you are correct. Bailey would be out by only 1 or 2 points. Into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air, and racing action is back on here from Michigan. Mark Arthur slipping up the racetrack a little bit, kind of opened up the door down to the inside for Cody Gibson to try and have a go at him. Oh, contact between Kilroe and Kyle Wellman. Wellman's down onto the end, but he's going to gather it up, and now they're 3 wide down the backstretch.
A little moment right there. Everyone kind of scattered. Everyone looks to be good. We'll see what damage may exist to those cars. There's Zane Bailey going to dig into the bottom of that corner, trying to get up under Larry Bell. Oh my gosh, he made contact with Larry Bell. They're 3, 4, 5 wide down the front straight, but all is good at the start-finish line.
I think we're starting to see some of that desperation settle in, right? Zane Bailey has been, for the last 3 seasons or so, in the top 3 in the points every single time. He has been right there, so close to victory, and every time it has been denied time after time again. He can taste it this time around, and boy, now another big door check. That was courtesy of Rincon, as Bailey tracks back into 3 and 4. You can tell, though, he is starting to drive a little bit angry as he wants to hunt to the front and finally secure that crown.
And this concerns me and disappoints me a little bit, Nolan, as a driver and as a team owner, to see a driver drive that way. Here we are in lap 12 of this race, still a lot to go. And I know maybe when you're racing for the points, it doesn't feel that way. But boy, you're desperate this early. No, you got to keep your head together. You got to keep cool. You start making those desperate moves on lap 12, you may not make it to lap 100, and then you won't win a title. So if I could talk to Zane Bailey, if he can hear my voice, it's you know, keep calm and drive and let it all work itself out. Be aggressive later, but make sure you can get to the end of this race.
Well, Zane Bailey going to hunt to the bottom of 3 wide once again. This time trying to attack Larry Bell and Mike Campbell. Bell's going to clear from the top. Look from behind as Wreckage going to go to the inside as well. The 28 of Rincon trying to go around the outside, and I don't know if he'll find much momentum there. Well, I say that. He's holding the outside quite well. Bailey's going to track him to the inside. He's going to pull the slider across Ryan Wayne and just shut it down.
That bottom lane is not going to work, Roland. That bottom lane is not going to work for anybody, especially Zane Bailey. You just can't get on the throttle as much down there. You're not in control of the car. There's cars pinching you. that bottom lane works maybe every now and then, but if you're Zane Bailey trying to make 3 wide passes on the bottom, it's not going to work. I just maybe the middle will work, but he's got to give up on that bottom. Also, the more you're cranking that wheel to the left to get in the bottom of that corner, you are destroying those tires. You have to stop doing that for Zane Bailey. So right now, here's Dalton Kilrow on the screen. He is right now trying to secure that points title. He's got a battle behind him, a battle in front of him. But this is a good race so far. Lap 14 of 100, already more than about 15% through almost. And there's Kilrow's now going to try the bottom. But look at the difference of lines. When I say bottom, Nolan, Kilrow still has a whole scene below him. Bailey was basically hugging that line on the bottom of the corner.
Yeah, and anybody that's run this track for a long period of time knows that very inside lane down to the seam, that might work in a track like Chicagoland or Las Vegas. That's not going to work here. You got to keep off the bottom seam. Heck, it'll work at Auto Club better than it'll work here, but you can tell Dalton Kilrow kind of fell into the same trap. Now he's going to find himself in a bigger fight. He's got Gudger on the outside. He's got an aggressive Kyle Wellman right behind him. Wellman has not been afraid to throw the haymakers. We've seen him pulling slider after slider already in the opening 15 laps of this race. And he's not about to stop now that he's got a championship competitor in front of him.
No, and for Wellman, it feels like a track he must be good at. It's not typically see Wellman up front this early, so he must have some confidence here running at Michigan. He's apparently just found something that clicks tonight, so he wants to be up front. This is what I talked about earlier. There's 2 races going on. There's the race right now with Tanner Marr, Mark Arthur, Cody Gibson, and others trying to win a race. That's all that's left for these guys. But for Kilrow and for Bailey, it's about managing a race. You're almost, you're working on 2 scenarios. You're trying to write 2 endings to a story and somehow weave them together. Here's Kilrow now. He's got a car up ahead, and Michael Gudger and Cody Gibson. I thought Gudger was going to get the back of Gibson. I got really nervous there. But Kilrow's doing a better job at managing so far. That pit stop, again, if this stays green, will benefit Zane Bailey. But, short-term view, Zane Bailey did not benefit from pitting there in that caution.
Now that said, Kilrow's attempts on trying to go to the front have not borne a lot of fruit either, because much like Zane Bailey, he has been trapped on that inside line, not able to find a way out. But he finally just now has cleared up between Wellman and Cole Snyder, but he's immediately going to look back to the inside to try and attack that Logitech number 25 entry. You saw him think about sweeping up for the slider, but there just wasn't the room to make it work. So Snyder's going to retain up high. Look out for Kyle Wellman behind, because Wellman, if he sees an open door, he is going to pounce on it. Willie McKellar sliding up the racetrack for the bottom. He nearly takes out Paul Witt.
That car's going down the track and slow. You see how he's now trying to move up to get the car around him to go on by. So McKellar's falling back to the field a little bit here in that blue and yellow machine, and now he's trying to find a home and get that car back together. I'm guessing he probably wiggled that car loose a little bit, or had some help wiggling that car loose. One of the two may be true. And has kind of lost some speed. But up front, Mark Arthur driving that scheme we saw a couple weeks ago in the Freedom 100 here on Green Flag TV, that military-based theme. A different look for Mark Arthur in the past few weeks. He's got Tanner Marr, Cody Gibson on behind him. But look at the difference in lines here. There's 1, 2, they're kind of the same line. Cody Gibson's trying to run a little bit higher. He's trying to find some clean air. Michael Gudger ran higher than that. He's trying to find clean air. So another talk that you and I have had all season, either together or with George Kirifides or others, has been about dirty air in the ARCA cars. And you can see how everyone's trying to avoid it. Look how they're kind of just like half a car offset up the hill through these corners.
And you hear Cody Gibson lifting just a touch as well. He is not trying to overtake right now. He's just trying to run his line, save some field, might be trying to probe for weakness. Down to the inside, though. Cole Snyder wants to go. He's going to sweep up from the inside line and nearly get into the Cheetos number 1. And that lets Cody Gibson get a big drive down the back straightaway. But again, he lifts. He does not want to go around Tanner Marr yet.
Now, remember, in this in the SRA, it's 75% fuel tanks for these cars. So there's some fuel management that has to be played here to make sure you get the right amount of gas you want, so that you can maybe make the pit stops with a little bit of smoke in the back. And that might have been Larry Bell, I think I saw, who scrubbed the wall to get a car number. That's what I thought I saw, though. 3 wide now. McKellar on the inside, Bell on the outside of the car in the middle. They work it out. And boy, it's just time is ticking away, and boy, their cars are getting looser. The track likely getting a little hotter. And I suspect the stress level and the heart rate of Dalton Kilroe is getting higher because these cars are acting kind of wild around him.
It's been a wild race considering we are only a fifth of the way through a 200-mile race this afternoon. As Dalton Kilroe tries to fight his way around Rincon, Maine remains situated up on the outside line as, well, up front, Mark Arthur continuing to hold on with Tanamar sitting right behind. Oh, and again, Kilroe boxes Rincon in and nearly forces him wide. How about 10, Wreckage? Wreckage wants to go down the inside at turn 3, and he's going to do just that.
Digging away to the bottom, assuming advantage Kilroe. And yep, Kilroe will get around in that bottom lane. Again, it's so hard to pass down here. The momentum, because if you get on the gas too hard, you're going to get that car loose and lose it. So you're really flirting with the throttle as now someone flirted with the back of Dalton Kilroe. I didn't see who that was, but he got a small little bump there down the front straight.
John Holiday is broke. He just got put into the fence in turn 1, or on the front straight, and now he's up into the wall in turn 2. And this should be a caution here based on what we just saw. But of course,
problem is at the back of the field, I think. So
there we go. Now it comes out because there was one more car coming up.
Someone to go around him.
Yeah.
Well, this does not benefit Zane Bailey.
No, it does not. If anything, this is an active detriment to him.
Yeah, that means that first pit stop you made kind of meant nothing, with all due respect, because you didn't get to run this to green. I thought it was going to happen, though. We were having a really great run. You could tell some drivers are thinking about it because of the way you saw Cody Gibson lifting. But yeah.
Take a look back here at John Holiday. Right there, you saw him be put into the fence as he tried to clear himself across the nose of Larry Bell. And right there, you can see that roll right front has been completely disconnected. Yep. And he doesn't know it until right about here where he tries to turn into turn 1.
Yeah, him and Larry Bell are both equally surprised by the lack of turn in that car, and then Bell kind of got stuck to him. The problem here, why it took a moment for the caution to come out, which is kind of our topic of the night, is look at this. I mean, you can see the whole track there, but you can tell there's no one around him. So another factor in iRacing is what's the harm to the field? And the truth is, at that moment, besides these two cars, there wasn't any. Watch it again here from on board. The 9's going to come up. Got bumped by Bell up in the outside wall and likely broke something in that car. And watch the corner turn left, and maybe not. And again, look below him. There's no one there. Fine right there. There's the cars, and that's when the caution's just about to come out right here. Once determined there is a threat. Everyone's going to come down pit road. This, Nolan, no surprise, I don't think, should be 4 tires and gas for the whole field.
I'd be shocked if anybody did anything else. As we are all in.
I wonder if Zane Bailey tries something different. Let's watch the blue card right there.
Well, I mean, you said we'd be shocked if somebody did anything different. How about Mike Campbell? He has stayed out while Snyder wins the race off pit road over field. And in fact, holy cow, it's a wildly different call. No 4 tires for anybody. 2 tires at the most for Arthur, for Marr, for Gibson, as well as Gudger and Wellman. Rincon is actually one of the only drivers that took 4. Everyone else on fuel only still.
Yeah, I know it's because there's limited fuel, or not limited fuel sets, sorry, limited tire sets in this league. There's also limited fuel. Still, you get a caution right here in a track that's known to spread out and stay green, and you get a caution 25% marker. You would have to really convince me not to put tires in that car. I don't know how you could convince me not to put tires in that car, honestly. I'm surprised and sort of in shock. I mean, look at our pit deltas, though. As I was looking at timing and scoring, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Leader Mike Campbell has elected he will take the outside lane here on the restarts. Now, the concern you must have if you're the rest of the field, if you're Snyder, Witt, Arthur, anybody else, is what does your leader do? Remember, he goes on green, but he's, I mean, I guess no one took tires, so I guess maybe you're all thinking the same, but you got to watch out for a wheel spin here. You got to watch out for a ginger restart that checks up the field. This could be interesting. for Mike Campbell.
It's going to be an interesting restart for the field. I mean, you got guys that are on partial fresh tires, like Tanamar, trying to cut their way through. You got guys like Rincon at the back on 4 tires trying to cut their way through the field. You got Mike Campbell, who's now at the very least 17 laps separated on the fuel strategy alone, albeit his advantage is he's on the same tires as over half the guys in the field still. So it's going to be an interesting one here this afternoon as we look at the championship standings so far in this one. Dalton Kilrow still advantage to him with a 4-point gap over Bailey.
Yeah, I'm surprised. There's this mantra for success I listen to, and it comes from a podcast I read about pro wrestling from Eric Bischoff. And talking about the way to be successful is to be less than, better than, or different than your opponent. That's how you're successful in life. And if I'm Zane Bailey, I would have went with the different than my opponent. Whatever they would have done, I would have not done. If I thought they were coming in for 4, I'd have done 2. If they were doing 2, I'd have done 4. I'm surprised by some moves here. So let's see what happens. Pace car's going to come down Nolan. This is going to be a tense couple of laps here.
Field going to work their way into the restart zone. It'll be control to Campbell up top. Green flag back in the air, and racing action resumes. Well, Snyder, not the best of launches from the inside line. That lets Campbell clear down to the turn 1. Alba Snyder able to quickly get the drop on him through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, this has gotten a little hairy back here. 2, 3 wide, maybe. They're trying for 4. The lack of 4 wide is not for lack of trying. I think they just can't all get the momentum to get there. And some movement through the field. Look up front. I mean, there's basically offset 4 wide at one point here. Mark Arthur's really close to making contact with a driver. They're still scattering. Poor Dalton Kilrow is got to be white-knuckled in that steering wheel. Look at this hornet's nest. Look at Zane Bailey now right next to Dalton Kilrow.
As Zane Bailey bailed out to the bottom, Dalton Kilrow wanted nothing to do with what was going on in the 3 or 4 lanes above him. As guys like Paul Witt, Tanner Marr, Gibson, and more all just got hung up together. They're able to gather it up pretty well down the front stretch, so long as they don't have that again. That's one of those things where, all right, you survived it once. I don't think you want to go out there and attempt fate a second time.
Nope. No, sir. I'm good. Yeah, no, it's one of those, I'm good. I don't need part of that again moments. But up front here, great battle. Mike Campbell and Cole Snyder. They're now being challenged by the car up top. And Michael Gudger. Gudger, of course, with a podium last week. Probably last week, Nolan had a really great month of July. Then Michael Gudger, he won the Firecracker 400 special event. He won the Brickyard 400 special event. Won the Watkins Glen race for SRA. Podium last week. He said last week in the interview, Nolan, he was going to look at this like July 45th on the calendar and just kind of forget August started because that's how good July was.
Well, how about that? I mean, hey, like you say, right, July, a great month for Michael Gudger, who's looking to kick August off in a very strong way as well. As we'll start over for lap number 30. Gudger now starting to pull some distance here. He is the first driver that is on some kind of fresh tires. 11.3 seconds in the box, so 2 tires, likely right sides. Mark Arthur also on 2 fresh right sides. Trying to get to this well, but wreckage pulls the slider on old rubber, and that's going to shut him down hard.
Yeah, that's going to be it. And if you are the 12 car, if you're Mark Arthur, you are heated. You are upset. You're begging that guy to move. You saw even a small bump there. Mark Arthur saying, hey, like, I want by. Move out of my way. So he's trying to.
Oh, there we go.
Hold on, spinning. There's Cody Gibson. Oh, watch out, Zane Bailey's up there.
Oh, no.
Not good.
Bailey's involved. Big championship implications in this one. Damage on the front end for the points leader entering tonight. I think Kilrow. No, Kilrow did not get out of that either. Both contenders involved.
All right, well, now we're going to play a different game of chicken, and I'll explain what that means. Remember, this league, about halfway through the season, I think, maybe before that, implemented that fast repair rule. So you now get a fast repair. If I was either driver, if I was Kilrow or Bailey, if Mike...
Oh, boy, sorry.
Oh, jeez, it's okay. No, I was... Yeah. If I'm either driver and my car drives right now and it's not like crab walking or something is wrong, I am saving my fast repair until something later happens. So let's see what happens for either driver. If we get any indication either one comes down pit road and fixes that car. But watch the replay here. Cody Gibson's the one on the top of your screen. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here and find the moment of caution. Gibson's still up there, 3-4 wide. Someone going to come up and hit him. Yep, right there's the contact. Sends Gibson down the track. And there's Kilrow coming to frame. There's Zane Bailey up top. And it just...
Kilrow hit Paul
all
Witt.
hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
I didn't get a number, Nolan. Did you get a number on the car that may have turned Cody Gibson?
It was Mike Campbell, the one that stayed out on the racetrack.
Yeah. Well, my other prediction for this, I thought would have been, honestly, which let's watch this first. I'll tell you what I thought was going to happen in the caution. Watch up top in the one. Yep. It's got him turned and round it win. Oh, this Kilrow. I think he tried to move down to avoid the wreck and got in the back of a car, and then on around everything went. There's Kilrow down pit road, and this is a long pit stop, I believe, for Kilrow. We're now verging on a minute, so he did not use his fast repair. So he's just going to try to fix it au natural, so to speak, and do that, see what happens. I thought under this pit stop, Nolan, what I thought was going to happen, honestly, after people saw Michael Gutcher pull away on new tires, I thought that would have tempted the field, honestly. I really did. I thought it's sort of like the analogy I use. If you ever have a sibling or a best friend on Christmas morning or Christmas Day or around that time who opens a gift you wanted, you know, whether it be a video game console or whatever you wanted, and they get it instead, that jealousy you have of, boy, I really wanted that. That's how it feels when a driver goes by you with new tires. You're like, oh, I want those. That looks so fun. So I'm really surprised after Gutcher started to pull away from the field, he did not tempt more drivers to come down pit road and put tires on. Like, at some point, guys, you have to use these tires. Like, you don't get a refund. There's no refund policy in iRacing. Just use the things.
Dalton Kilrow manages to get out of pit road in time to stay on the lead lap, but you can still see all that damage on the front end, and that's not ideal considering Zane. Now, here's the caveat to this. Zane Bailey pulled the trigger. He used that fast repair under this ladies' yellow flag. He was only in the box for 5 seconds. So Kilrow's got the mulligan later that Zane Bailey doesn't, but Bailey's going to have the pace. Now, that pace only helps Bailey if this race goes green, which, based on what we've seen, I don't think it's going to.
Well, the other advantage for Bailey right now is sort of the opposite of where we started tonight. Remember, lap 8, he pitted, Kilrow did not. And I said at that point, Bailey had put himself back in a hornet's nest, and Kilrow was good. Right now, Bailey is sitting in P8. Kilrow is back in the field. He has the problem back in P24 of all the unknowns. Who spins, who doesn't, who gets in the wall. Do they want to go 4, 5 wide racing? And Kilrow is just sort of along for the ride. So right now, the good news for Kilrow is he has that fast repair left. The bad news is the deeper you get in the field, the more likely you are to need it.
Kilrow definitely caught the worst from that crash. Bailey had just a little bit of minor scuffs to fix up. I personally wanted to use a fast repair. I might have if I was Kilrow. We'll see who will be the benefactor as we go back to green flag racing on lap 34 of 100. Michael Gudger pulling away, and already Kyle Wellman trying to look top and bottom to find the way through.
Well, Gudger here having a great restart, no surprise, has those tires to get better grip. Look at him using the bottom of the track, and he'll track all the way out to the wall, I suspect, here. And I'm sure he feels comfortable in that car. He's got 2 cars pushing on back. Tanner Marr and Kyle Wellman, so no matter which lane he wants to drive here, gets a bit of a push in that draft, gets to throw that dirty air backwards and kind of create chaos. Here's a car slow on the bottom. And I think we're good. Maybe just a little bit of a wall hit. He got off track. It's going to get, that's Campbell. And he...
This will be for at fault for the incident. He would have claimed that under the caution. Remember, if you claim if you claim more than 2, you have to come down pit road to serve a penalty. So that was his second claim of the night, which is why he's coming down pit road right now. He got that penalty actually under the yellow flag when he claimed it, but you have to serve it under green, so this is the first chance to go.
Correct. Yes, correct. Yeah, you're exactly right. So that is, if you're Mike Campbell, you're under the gun right now. You can't get another one. So you have to ride pretty gingerly tonight here for the rest of the way here. Now working lap, well, 30 plus. We're almost a third of the way through this race. We're having a good time here at Michigan. We've seen a couple wrecks. We've seen lots of good racing here. This track, known to provide lots of great racing, lots of multi-groove action, lots of late passes, and more. But for right now, this field is trying to hang on and trying to catch Michael Gudger and not the wall, which almost happened under turn 2.
Oh, but Well was going to catch the outside wall in the middle of the back straightaway, trying to get around Ryan Wayne. That stacks the outside line enough for Cole Snyder to send one down the bottom of Zane Bailey into turn 3. And Cole Snyder on fresh tires here. A fresh set of 4 Goodyears under this yellow flag. He is on the move with them right now as he cruises down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I like Cole Snyder's call. Listen, I mean, why not use them? Again, there's no virtual refunds. You know, that you don't get credit for turning them back in. We're already a third of the way through the race. At some point, you've got to use these tires. But I understand the idea is the later you save them, the more you have for any late race shenanigans. So I get both sides here. Now down the back straight, 3 wide again. And the car with a little bit of connection problems in the middle. That does not help your confidence of 3 wide when you've got someone blinking right there in the middle. So that car has moved down and out of the way in this moment.
That's Cole Snyder's number 25 that's having those issues. He's been kind of in and out since the restart, trying to see if he can get that resolved. It worked out that time. He found a way clear to the bottom. Not sure if he realized what was going on. Meanwhile, Ted Rekic now is 3 wide in the middle with Thomas Lane Jr. and Snyder. And all of this right in front of points leader Zane Bailey.
Yeah, if I was Bailey, I would want a way out of this. I would also not stick my nose in there 3 wide like he almost did. I'd be up on the top of this track hoping they get by me or that something happens and I can just kind of sit up top and avoid it. I thought for sure Nolan he was going to stick his nose in 3 wide, and I got nervous for him in that moment.
I will say, as far as restarts go, this has actually been the most tame one that we've had so far. And I think a good chunk of that does have to do with the fact that we did just get the big one on the front straightaway, so a number of cars have not got to their cars fully repaired and are now off the pace. Case in point, Dalton Cure, who is 7.8 seconds behind the leaders, and right now lapping about half a second a lap slower than these front runners, despite being in the back with some draft. John Holiday, meanwhile, goes around Santa Mara.
I think the other reason why this restart is pretty tame is that, I mean, minus maybe Gudger and Snyder and a couple others, we're working on some pretty old tires. No one has any moves left in these tires. I mean, the fall off on these tires, by the way, doesn't feel that big on lap time, right? I mean, for some drivers, you're talking about maybe a second of fall off. It doesn't feel like a lot, but it does feel like a lot in the car. You're not as confident. You're not making as many moves. Watch Gudger here. This is on board. He's now gotten passed by Holiday, by the way. And you'll see Gudger's pretty confident. I mean, already kind of back in the throttle, playing with it, just trying to make it work to the corner. But if we were to do the same on board with someone else, I'm guessing Holiday or Wayne or Marr, you're going to see a little bit more of a gingerly use of that gas pedal throughout the track because those tires are just not as willing to cooperate. Watch Reikick here. There's a little bit of brake. I mean, I don't recall seeing that when looked on Gudger, so that may be the difference in how much you have to brake here to get that car to kind of help, you know, stay calm or not behave poorly. So, I mean, that's also why this restart's been pretty tame. It's just, I think a lot of drivers, they're kind of out of moves for the moment, right? You're just kind of along for the ride.
Okay, so you saw how much he was able to pull alongside Tanner Marr there in turns 1 and 2, and then how much Marr was able to just get the drive up and around the outside of him, coming back down the back straightaway there. Really puts in perspective just how wild the difference of performance is on both of those different lines. And we'll get an even better look here down the back straightaway, right? I mean, look at Thomas Lane Jr. He's on the inside. He gets a good run through the entry of the corner. But look at how quickly Colwinsberger and Gibson are going to be able to run him back down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see what's going to happen here. And just a big run on the outside. No surprise at Michigan. Cody Gibson must have used his fast repair the way. He's up in that top groove. Mark Arthur, our former race leader, He's back in this pack a little bit. So this is the battle on screen, back a little bit here. This is back right around P12, P13 on back, and these drivers are racing pretty hard, trying to get back to front. If we can dig back in the field, though, I think it's important to tell the story of Dalton Kilrow all the way back in 23rd currently. This is the car that's hurt. Now, if there's any driver that does not want this race to go green, weirdly enough, it's Dalton Kilrow. And I say that weirdly enough because Dalton not only races in this league, he admins other ARCA leagues, and typically Dalton does not appreciate too many yellows in a race. But when you have a car that is hurt, that is off pace, when you have a fast repair available that you have not used yet, you're probably begging for a couple more cautions. You can get down pit road and get those repair fixed. And I bet you there's Nolan right now in his head, he's thinking, boy, of all races to go green, the one where I'm hurt, of course, is the one where, you know, where we're staying green. That's the driver mentality you have, where you kind of have to go, really, it's happening to me, and that's kind of what sits in your head.
Well, not even all of all the races to go green, because we weren't going green. We only started to go green after he dropped out of the lead pack. So it's one of those things where it's like, really, now we're starting to get our act together? Like, after all of that, I'm sure Zane Bailey is not complaining in the slightest about it.
Look at this real quick. Sorry to cut you off. The 13 car, the white car in the middle, Ted Reich, he is not happy. He's not been happy for the past lap or so about some of the racing that's going on. He's dropped a couple words in driver's chat that I'm not going to drop here. To say they rhyme with luck, which he doesn't think he has a lot of right now. So he was on a couple drivers' cases about some of the door banging, some of the driving. And yeah, he is, ooh, boy, getting bumped from Mark Arthur, getting closer to Kyle Wellman. And I think he's trying to get away from Mark Arthur, but Mark Arthur says not with that draft.
Rekic is a guy that hasn't been happy with a lot of drivers so far this season, and he's made his fair share of enemies, a la Aaron Raymond, right? I mean, no offense, I find it a little bit rich that he's the one getting a bit annoyed about the door banging, considering that's kind of what he's known for a lot, especially if you look back to the Kansas race earlier this season. He did a lot of that to try and get a win. He can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen, you know?
Oh, Zane Bailey almost got tagged by the car below him right there. Zane Bailey running pretty well here, up in the top 6. And right now, he has to be grinning ear to ear as this race is going on. Almost halfway done. Bailey's up 3 wide. He's got Tanner Marr right there. He's got Reiki up below him. Got a couple cars up ahead. But right now, it's Bailey in P6. It's Kilrow back in P23. So this points title in this moment is pretty well wrapped up.
Yeah, provided nothing significant happens right now, Zane Bailey's got a near or around a 20-point gap on Dalton Kilrow as things run, and Kilrow again is begging for a caution right now so he can get himself down pit road and finally get that damage repaired. I'm willing to bet he is regretting his decision to not take that fast repair. I don't think he realized, though, to what extent the car was actually damaged, because it didn't look like that hard of an impact. And frankly, I'm a bit surprised that it's taken as much of a knock and pace as it has.
Yeah, but that said, this is basically, in ARCA cars at least, this is a drafting track, right? I mean, look at all these guys all huddled together here. I mean, according to the timing of scoring, these guys, for what, P11, P13 on up, is basically a second apart because of that draft. So anything that's going to mess with your aerodynamics in that car is going to keep you out of the draft. That's going to hurt you here, right? When it's not Dega, it's not Daytona, but it's still going to matter. And I think that's what's happening here in this moment. See a couple cars moving around the track, trying to find some new lanes. Tanner Marr to the bottom, and that beautiful blue and silver, by the way. I like that car look right there. And he's got Ted Reichink up ahead. Connor Gibson, Cody Gibson is pushing around Zane Bailey. But look at that. It's almost a conversation. Here's a win I've never had at Michigan before. We can't push the pusher, guys. Mark Arthur was ready to push Gibson, who was going to push Bailey. That would have ended poorly.
Hey, you don't have that conversation a whole lot at a track that's not Daytona or Talladega, but it's it's just applicable at every racetrack you go to. Cannot push the pusher. Ryan Wayne has cleared John Holiday for the top spot. Gudger looking to make short work for the number 2 spot as well, while John Holiday trying to fight back and go after a podium here.
Yeah, this is a beautiful battle up front, and the talk tonight will be the points battle, but the guys up front are having a great run.
Oh, boy.
Boy.
Careful.
Eesh. Cole Snyder now trying to make that run to the bottom. Remember, he has new tires. So not surprised to see him moving up front. Ryan Wayne's up here. Holiday, Gudger, and Zane Bailey are top 5 here.
So what do we call it? Do we call that a half commentator's jinx because they almost wrecked, or what do we call that?
Yeah, I'm trying to take less of those lately. I'm on a good roll. And in Premier Sim Racing Sim Gaming Expo Truck Series, I'm going to roll 2 in a row. So I'm trying to do that. McKellar now down pit road, by the way. This is right at the end of lap 50, so right at the halfway point. So we'll see what that does. I don't think that's on schedule for McKellar. We last pitted on lap 32. That's 18 laps ago. So I would think we can go a little bit longer than that. I guess we'll find out. Hold on, car to bottom.
Oh, what a save from Rincon. Pulls it up with Kyle Wellman, and they're going to get it back rolling here just in time for Cole Snyder to go after the lead.
Possibly the only person more excited about that wreck than us was Dalton Kilrow. If he could have sold it from his spot, sure, he was stoked. Oh, whoa, there's Tanner Marr. He struck the ball pretty hard up there. That was a big momentum killer for Tanner Marr, but he'll be okay and keep that car moving for the moment. I want to keep a mental note of that, though. That felt weird. Watch Tanner Marr again. What's going to happen? Oh, this is Rincon, sorry. Look at that, Rincon, a great job. Got the wheel straightened out, didn't freak out, didn't yank the wheel back and forth, and went forward in that moment.
McKellar rejoins the racetrack right in the middle of this battle pack, pretty much where he ended up anyway, where he pitted from. So, I mean, he hasn't lost all that much ground if he can just keep pace with the front runners here. Meanwhile, Holiday going back for the lead on Cole Snyder down the front straightaway. With Ryan Wayne trying to push the number 9 clear.
You know, I'm a little surprised, and I have to say that here we are working lap 51, 52 here, 53 actually, and it's not a commonly discussed attribute of iRacing, but you can't have tire failures here. You can have tires that will go down or pop or be at 0% wear. We're 53 laps in, and unless we miss something so far, a bunch of these cars, I believe, are still on their starting tires. We've got to be getting close to people needing tires. Whether you need gas or not, you need tires. Here's a car down pit road, by the way. Is that Joshua Burke, possibly?
Cody Witt, the number 4.
Cody Witt, in a 4. Okay. I heard Burke call pitting in my ear, so I was trying to connect the dots and missed that call. But we've got to be getting close to needing tires. And these guys, when they get new tires in a few laps on them, it's going to feel like a brand new race car. It's going to feel like you just, I don't know how to describe it. It's going to be like going from like racing like a go-kart to something bigger, which how much grip you have. It's going to be a whole new world for those drivers.
It's one of those feelings you don't even really appreciate all that much until you're actually blitzing your way past all the guys that haven't come down pit road yet, right? That's where you really get a sense of just how much quicker you are on fresh tires. You just grow more accustomed to the speed scrubbing off over time.
Yeah, you'll feel it a little bit yourself when you dig into the corner for the first or second time. You're like, oh, I don't need to lift. I don't need to tap the brake. I can power through here. Now, the downside to it is you start to feel like a little bit Superman, and then you can get too aggressive and make it bad. But these guys are looking forward to new tires. I can feel that here. Working 40-some laps to go, and they're still side-by-side battling. This is up front, towards up front. Oh, boy, there's a car on the bottom. That's Reichig. There's a move you don't see very often halfway through a race in old tires. People trying to use that apron down there. That apron typically gets a little slippery and a little unreliable on old tires.
Well, it worked out for Rekich as he's trying to pull it up in front of John Holiday. William McKellar from behind is looking like he wants to unlap himself. McKellar is on fresh tires. He is a lap down. He's trying to put himself back onto the lead lap with the Vaultec Industries number 75 Ford Mustang. Gonna go down to the bottom side, gets around Holiday, gets around Reichig as well, and just in time because Holiday now going around the outside of the 13 back for the lead.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do for the leaders. Just let McKellar go. Don't force him into any bad spots. He's already faster than you. Just let it happen is the right call. I'm a little surprised he's not pulled away more than he has, but now he will through this corner. That grip he has and that ability to get on the throttle he has will help him pull away. Some more lap cars and some more cars up front. That I believe to be Michael Gudger right up front, who must have already pitted because I saw that car just ahead here in the camera shots. And Gudger likely trying to fight and stay on the lead lap in case a caution happens.
A few drivers are in. Colwinsberger and Roy are into pit road right now as well. Larry Bell has just come down pit road as well. 42 laps to go, making 43 laps to go at the line as well, we continue to log laps this afternoon. And for Dalton Kilroe, he is now 28 seconds behind your race leaders, and every lap that goes by, he can just see that championship slipping away from him.
Yeah, the good news for Kilroe in a way, lap times here about 40 seconds. So he has a little bit of time left before he has to worry about the leaders catching him. But I suspect under this pit stop, Nolan, whether it be under green or yellow, whatever happens next for him, he will use that fast repair and get that car fixed. He must not think he can hold on any longer. He now knows the decision he made and what happened. And in that moment, a bunch of cars down pit road. By the way, some of our leaders here now down pit road. And so this will be interesting here. Ryan Wayne down pit road and others. Here's the battle up front. By the way, this is Ted Reichik. He is trying to lead a lap here in that 13 car, that black and white car. Now down to the bottom of the 9. And can he clear it? I don't think so. No, he did. Ooh, not by much, though.
And a huge slide job. John Holiday trying to side draft him back, and Holiday gonna steal the lap away. Reichik couldn't lead it at the line as John Holiday got him back.
Well, Zane Bailey's up here in this battle, and it's hard to watch. I understand there's a driver's mentality. We want to win. We want to go fast. We want to lead. We want to do all that cool stuff. But I watch Zane Bailey up here in this battle when they're side by side ahead of him, and all I can think of is race managers. Right, back up a little bit. Let them have the space. Let them do their own battle. Pass when it's easier. Do not get caught up in some of this mess that happened once already. You don't have a fast repair left, so please, oh boy, back up. Especially if he knows where Dalton Kilroe is. I mean, again, Kilroe's still back in the field. Now through pit stops at the moment, I think Kilroe will gain a couple spots here, but not too many. Bailey is well ahead.
And you see as well, this is Jim Colwinsberger currently leading, Larry Bell, Aaron May, and more. All of these drivers in this group that you see on screen, they have all come down to pit road already, and all of them are for position. And these are guys that the leaders are going to have to be fighting with as well once they finish up their pit stops as well, or potentially even fight their way through. So that's going to make for quite the interesting ride when we come back out onto the racetrack. Kyle Wellman has just taken back the lead lap as John Holiday comes to pit road this time.
Yep, Holiday's down pit road now. Bailey's up to P2, by the way. Remember, Bailey got the bonus point earned for leading a lap. I've not done the math yet, Nolan, but I don't think at this point it's statistically possible for Bailey to claim the point for leading the most laps. So as of right now, there's the gap on the top right of your screen. Bailey's up points on Kilroe tonight. Mark Arthur moved in P3. Paul Witt moved to P4. Gudger would move down to P5 in the points, but I don't think it's possible at this point for Bailey to claim the point for most laps led. So here's Kilroe down pit road. This has to be his fast repair along the tires. That car is too hurt. He's going to have to make some move here to be competitive.
I like the call, right? Come down, get the fast repair, get 4 fresh tires on an undercut strategy to boot. That effectively guarantees that you're going to be able to hold on to the lead lap for at least a good little while longer than you would have. Now we just got to hope that the caution doesn't come out before the leaders come down pit road.
Right.
And there you saw it, fast repair, new clip on the car.
I was waiting to see it.
And Reichik low and slowing. Reichik coming to pit road now that he's got his point for leading the lap.
So again, that'll put Bailey to the lead for now. It doesn't really matter because Bailey's already got his point for leading a lap. I don't know. Do you have lap sled stats? I do not have them on my timing and scoring.
I do not.
Okay, there's been so many leaders tonight, and we're so far into the race. I guess if Bailey led every lap from here, it could be a discussion maybe, but it would be close.
So
as of the moment, right kick down pit road. Go ahead, sorry.
I do know that ATVO does to some extent track that though, because obviously you can have it factor in a point for leading the most laps. So you can't, it does log it somewhere. I just need to figure out where it logs it at.
You gotta find out where. But here comes Bailey down pit road. He saw Reichik do it and said this is the time to do it. He'll give up the lead here now to Mark Arthur. a driver who led many laps earlier in this race. This is a long crawl down pit road, by the way, guys. This is slow. This is 55 miles an hour. Now, to us in our normal everyday cars, that sounds normal, right? But factor in the fact that we're going 180, 190 into the corners. No, 55 sounds awfully slow.
How I wish we could see the pit crews working on the cars like you can if you were a driver in the sim. That'd be awesome. It'd take a lot of rendering power, but it'd be awesome.
Yeah, some of our computers are already crying at that thought, but it would be pretty cool to see that moment. Again, up at the top of your screen, we'll have it throughout the night, standing as they run. Kilrow down 22 spots. As of this moment, Dalton Kilrow is down a lap, as is others. So wait and see if the pit stops continue. When Arthur is, by the way, down pit road, so he's going to pit spot. Michael Gudger, I think, needs to pit on 56. So he pitted 9 laps ago. I think the cycle for now is done. The problem with the cycle a little bit, Nolan, is that how wide it is. Gudger pitted about 9 laps ago. William McKellar pitted even sooner than that. Cole Snyder pitted on 55. Those were, I think, under that last a while ago now. So the cycle is never really going to, quote-unquote, complete. And that could be the problem for some of these cars like Dalton Kilrow trying to get a lap back.
Yeah, right now, Kilrow 1 lap down. The saving grace, Kilrow is right behind the race leader, and he should be able to pretty easily get around him on 7-lap fresher tires. The also saving grace, if a caution does come out, he is the only driver eligible for the lucky dog right now, because the next closest driver to him is Mike Campbell, who is behind him by a full lap. So Kilrow doesn't have to worry too much. He'll get the lap back no matter what if the caution comes out, but he wants to get it back on track, and he's going to go and take that lead lap back right here.
Yep, there he goes. He'll now get that.
Oh, and just in time!
Oh,
no. Kolbensberger spins it out of 4. Kilrow just took back the lead lap seconds before it comes out, and that is a game changer.
Timing, either way, he's good, right? Because it doesn't matter where timing and scoring, he's going to call everything. Either he's the lucky dog or he's on the lead lap. So
that is so fortunate.
Wow.
How about that? The saving grace, and all of a sudden, Zane Bailey's security is up in smoke because they're all on the same lap, same tire strategy just about.
If you're Zane Bailey, you're hoping he's the lucky dog because he'll start at the end of the longest line. But you're right. I think he's good. I think he was on the lead lap. Now the question becomes: remember, everybody was saving tires for late race shenanigans. Watch what's going to happen to bring out the caution first, and watch the car. I believe in the middle of your screen is where this is all going to happen. That white car with the red lettering. He's gonna no, he doesn't get tapped.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, he does.
I think Tanner Marr kind of drifted down into Holiday, and that pushed Holiday up into the 11. Yeah. And that kind of, Kolbensberger looked like an innocent bystander there.
Going to be a little bit to figure out. I don't, that'll be interesting to see how that's going to get called and what's going to happen, if anyone takes credit for what happened. There's what you thought happened maybe with Marr.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, they got hooked together.
Yep. Absolutely.
So who comes down pit road? I'd imagine all the guys that are at least 10 laps. Everybody.
Oh, remember, we all save tires for late race shenanigans. Well, this is the definition of late race shenanigans. If you're, again, there's no refunds. You have to use them at some point.
Well,
why would you not
even Mark Arthur, now? Even Mark Arthur, though, who only pitted 2 laps ago?
That one, but he did not pit, actually, I don't think.
No,
so
he did
I think
not.
Arthur stayed out. But you're right. That one I would be more inclined to think, yeah, okay, maybe. But everyone else, remember, you were saving tires for a cause. So why not go ahead and make use of that? Well, you know what we should do here now that pit stops are over? I try to talk to you about the driver's headspace and what it feels like and what it means. But if we look down to that Ford Performance team, I'm curious of what the driver's headspace is. Zane Bailey, well, we'll almost start lap 70 here, about 31 laps to go before you can close out this season. As of now, you have a pretty sizable gap in Dalton Kilrow. Are you tracking that? Do you care?
Yeah.
Are you just racing? What's in your head?
Does he still have his fast repair?
No, he already used it. I think I can tell you that. Well, if I can't tell you that, I already did, so it's a little late to take it back.
Does he still have damage?
I don't think so.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna try.
Well, I think you answered part of my question. The fact you don't know the answer to these questions tells me that you're just running your own race, I guess.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get taken out by an idiot, but I probably will.
So what's it? It feels like it's this bit. I mean, obviously it's Michigan, it's ARCA cars, it's a draft fest. You've been pushing though. I'm a little surprised. I thought initially, pre-race at my own kind of notes, I thought you'd be in more of a race manager mode and just kind of trying to win a title, but you're up there trying to win a race tonight.
I just know that I need to be at least one spot behind Dalton or in front of Dalton to win. So I've just tried and stayed. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Well, a few laps to go here. Congrats on the season so far, no matter what happens. But good luck, and I suspect we'll be talking to you later.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, that is the driver from Ford Performance, and Zane Bailey and Nolan. He's a better driver than I am. I would be tracking everything I could through the iRacing services to know who was where, if I thought they used their fast. Some of that, of course, you don't know, right? The drivers don't get told if others use their faster, but you can kind of figure it out sometimes. Are they damaged? What lap it on? He seemed to be kind of just in his own little world. He didn't really seem to know anything.
Hey, sometimes that can be beneficial for you, right? I mean, if you know all of the stats and all the facts behind everything, you have a tendency to maybe get in your own head a little bit, trying to focus on what's going on around you. Sometimes all you got to do is just run your own race, and things will happen. And I think that's what he's trying to get a handle on right now.
Yeah, analysis paralysis is what you suffer from sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the story. Mark Arthur has had a good run this season. Cody Gibson on the restart. Let's see what happens here.
It's going to be an intense restart. 30 laps to go in the championship finale. Bailey still with a 10-point advantage on Kilroe, but now they are on the same tire strategy. Green flag is back in the air as racing action continues. Mark Arthur with a good getaway, with Reichert trying to push him clear to turn one.
Pretty solid race here. Two different lines working together here. You got Gibson being pushed around by Gudger and others. You got Mark Arthur being pushed around by Reichert and others. So despite the track that can produce 3, 4, 5 lanes of racing, really only 2 lanes being used up front. Kind of a surprise so far. That'll change, I'm sure, here. Gudger moves up top, leaves Gibson all alone. And Mark Arthur is trying to pull away here.
Gudger sweeps across the nose of Kyle Wellman, able to pick up a spot within the top 5, trying to go for a podium. Arthur leads the first lap back to green, with Reichert just behind, Gudger in third, Gibson in fourth, fighting with Kyle Wellman. Cody Gibson scrambling for the inside, gets around Michael Gudger. He's now going to try to do the same for number 2. They're 3 wide behind with Marr in the middle.
Oh boy. Zane Bailey's up top, even more importantly, some levels than that. Bailey's going to stick up top and try to run the top of this track here. Said he's concerned about the race. He was concerned, basically, paraphrasing, concerned about getting involved in a wreck, the rest of this race, and people getting too antsy and too excited. And he's now 6, 7 cars deep, so that becomes more likely here. If you're, I'm going to say, I think time is relative in a race car, and where you are on the track determines how fast laps go by. If you're Mark Arthur, typically time is pretty slow as a leader. You want these laps to tick by faster so you can be done with this race. But if you're Zane Bailey and you hold still at about 11 spot lead over Dalton Kilroe, you wish this race would end right now. You just want it to be over with. You want it to be done. You don't want anything stupid to happen. You just want to be out of this car and be a champion.
Oh, no.
Hold on, there's the stupid.
Look out as everyone goes scrambling. Bailey's going to slip through.
Is he? Hold on.
I think he has. He has managed to slip through. Cody Gibson went hard into the inside wall.
Wow, the second time, nonetheless, tonight for Cody Gibson.
Yeah.
That's almost identical to where I think he got spun the first time.
Was it even with the same car that got him as well? Surely
Campbell?
not.
Well, Campbell was the first one. I remember that.
Let's look back.
If that is Campbell, that should be no, it's Reichert this time. And I'm guessing from just the start of the replay.
Either Reichert or Marr.
Reichert.
Oh, it was Mar. Mar started to turn Raikkock sideways, and then Raikkock shot up the racetrack, overcorrecting.
Watch Zane Bailey, by the way. We'll watch that later, but that's a pretty impressive run by Bailey to keep calm. Touches the grass. That's okay. We could deal with that. There goes Dalton Kilrow on through, down on the apron. He also made it through and probably made up a bunch of, well, we'll see where he lines up on the caution. He may have made up a bunch of spots here. Watch the run by Bailey. Watch up top. The wreck's going to happen. The smoke begins. It's right there. Now, that's pretty confident. It's got down there and hope nothing happened. And he was right.
Boy, I'm sure when Wellman hopped over the back of Raikkock there, he kind of had his heart leap into his throat for a moment. Raikkock now with a meatball flag to serve. That right front completely disconnected from the Recon Brewing number 13 as he's going to be down pit road.
Ooh, Dalton Kilrow down pit road, by the way. We'll point that out. I saw him go by a second ago.
Tire strategy, maybe? He didn't take tires on the last stop. It was fuel only.
Yeah, so maybe he's trying to save a set for right now. And remember, as the laps tick down, you have to do it.
No,
soon.
fuel only.
Fuel only.
You know what? He's setting himself up for overtime.
And listen, if there's someone in ARCA cars who knows how to save fuel, if you were going to have a college class on fuel saving 101, Dalton Kilrow comes to mind as the professor of that class. He loves to save fuel. He loves to play games with fuel. He loves to win fuel races. So we'll see what comes that. With these shortened gas tanks, though, watch it again here. The wreck, Mar gets up into Raikkock comes up and gets into Gibson. And yeah, different car, but almost identical. If somehow we could do side-by-sides, that would be nearly identical to what happened before.
Should be, what, a 24-lap run when we take the green flag here again?
Maybe 20. Well, we're 24 to go right now. Lights in the pace car are still on, so probably 22?
We're 26 to go, coming to 25.
I can't read. You're right. We are 26 to go.
It happens to the best of us.
Look at that. Yeah, reading is hard. That's an Ohio public school system education for you right there.
You're not
from 25 to go.
From Ohio?
I am from Ohio.
You are from? Okay. I've learned something new about you. I thought you were...
I'm a West Coaster now. I escaped.
Oh, okay.
Don't get yourself wrong. I escaped. But no, I'm not from Ohio. Yep. I would say some weird funny facts about, my partner being from Michigan, but you're Canadian. You're not a college football guy. None of that means anything to you.
Yeah.
There are parts of my... For those out there who understand, there are parts of my family who would think it's sacrilege that I'm dating someone from Michigan. That's just...
I'm not even a college hockey guy.
Let me see if I can put it to you. I'm trying to think of, there's rivalries. There's the Yankees and the Red Sox. There's, there's infamous F1 rivalries. I can't think of right now. I'm drawing a blank in the middle of this moment
Hamilton
here.
The
Bulls and the Lakers, the Celtics and the Lakers. Hocevar and the rest of the NASCAR field, basically, at this moment, basically.
I think Hocevar's been replaced with Austin Hill temporarily.
Well, yeah, depending on the series. Hocevar for the Cup Series and Austin Hill for the Xfinity Series. I mean, technically, Hocevar did replace Austin Hill today, so that's even better. But yeah.
How about that?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Austin Dillon replaced Austin Hill. That was Hocevar replaced the calling card. Sorry, I got him backwards in my head.
24 laps. Arthur continues to lead. He did not come down pit road. Neither did anybody within the first 3 rows. Try it again. Green flag back in the air.
I think Ted Raikkock would be maybe the first one and pitted, so we'll see how that goes. What comes to that green flag back in the air, though, here, and a beautiful jump up top from Mark Arthur, who's led a bunch of this race tonight. See Zane Bailey in that very basic blue car. That's a car to watch all night long. He's trying to win a points title. And as you noted, Nolan, it's not the first time that Bailey has been in this spot of trying to win the title. Just hasn't always been successful at it.
No, at least the last 2 seasons, may have been the last 3. Bailey has been in the top 3 in the points right at the end, but every single time he's just gotten screwed over by one thing or another, whether it be being taken out in an incident, whether it be just not having the pace of the final run. Heck, last season it was the drop weeks that caught him out. So this is one of the best positions he has ever been in his SRA career to win a championship, and you can tell he is taking it to heart.
Yeah, and I think that's where that comment came from earlier in his interview when he said, I'm just expecting to get taken out. It's because when it happens, you see season after season, hold on, wreck in the back, big wreck in the back. In fact, cautions out. And just as I said, the words taken out, they went ahead and took it serious. That's, oh boy.
John
5 cars involved. John Walda.
Yeah, Junior involved. Witt's there. Mars there. Burke, I think, spun out trying to avoid. And so we slow him down again.
Yep. Let's watch the replay and see what's going to happen here. Watch at the middle of your screen. There's going to be Gibson, by the way, riding along. I'm surprised that car's still moving, for the record. Not to be offensive, but it's thought it'd be done by now. And up, there's Bawalda on the bottom. Oh, is that Mar in the blue and silver again involved in a wreck?
Yeah, Mar got hooked, and then somewhere in the middle.
This time, yeah, not at all. He got hooked around, and you probably want to watch it from the back of maybe from Paul Witt's view. That might give us a good shot. I know Paul Witt said, I have no idea what happened there. So Paul Witt, maybe a surprise as anyone. There's a couple cars to hit the wall there.
Yeah, Witt just tracked him at a bar.
Yep, absolutely. And Mar was along for the ride. Got in the back of Bawalda, and caution is out.
Pretty good job on Kevin Roy to get through that unscathed. This is what he saw.
Let's watch this here from his point of view and see what's going to happen. A little back in the pack. Sometimes this is the best place to be with a few laps to go at a place like Michigan. You kind of see the wreck happening, see the RPMs lifting, you hear it, and oh boy, had they painted that car one more time this morning, he might not still be moving.
Roy will come down to pit road along with the likes of McKellar, Wellman, Marr, pretty much everybody that was involved in the crash. Unsurprisingly, Kilroe in again into the pits. And this time he's taking tires.
Yeah, this is going to be the move right here. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Again, good idea, bad idea. Good idea, tires. Bad idea, you're going to be deep in the field. But I think those new tires are going to be king. If we get any kind of a resemblance of a run to the end, heck, even our restarts, they're going to be king. That may be the best news for Kilroe in a wild way. If we get a couple restarts in those, because he'll get some great grip in those tires to those first sets of corners and probably make up a bunch of spots here. I'm excited to see how this goes. I don't see Kilroe in the Discord available for comment. I was trying to maybe get a hold of him earlier and get him up in the broadcast booth, but I don't see him in the server currently. But yeah, if I'm Zane Bailey, this move makes me nervous.
So the issue is that Zane Bailey's latest tires are about, what, 11, 15 laps old, thereabout. And a lot of that time since then has been spent under the caution flag. So he hasn't actually really been wearing those tires down all that much. But I can understand why Dalton Kilroe wants to pull that trigger anyway. He doesn't want to take a chance that all of a sudden you're going to go green to the end, because he's gambled with that once before with the fashion pair, and it blew up in his face. He got a huge mulligan. I think he's just trying to play it safer rather than sorry at this point, get the advantage early on, even if it's only a slight one.
And at Michigan, that is going to be an advantage. Don't confuse yourself. Yes, you're right. Most of it's been under caution, but it will matter. The tire temps will matter, especially on this track. The abrasiveness of this track will matter. It will feel like an advantage if this run stays any form of green. Now, if you're Zane Bailey in a way, the best thing you can hope for is it doesn't. You know, I know we all hate cautions as drivers, and as drivers we get a little antsy behind the pace car. But if you're Zane Bailey, you might be hoping for that now. You know, basically at 4 laps of caution with a couple laps mixed in, you can only yellow about 3 more times before overtime begins. But the downside of the yellows for Zane Bailey is, in theory, every time one happens, there's a wreck. And as long as Dalton Kilroe is not in the wreck, he probably gains a spot here and there per yellow flag.
$19 to go. Every lap that ticks by on a caution is one less lap that this field will have in the green, and every Every caution lap we spend is going to be that much more, that the intensity is going to ramp up on these restarts as drivers get that much more anxious to get back to it and go race with what little time they have left in the season. Pace cars off. Do we go the distance, or do we slow it down again? Statistics say we're not done yet. John Holiday will lead the field back to the green.
Looked like Zane Bailey got caught a little bit sleeping on that start. Look at that gap he had between himself and Reiching up front here. But up front, a nice side-by-side battle. It's Mark Arthur up there battling with John Holiday. And now they got Reiching in there. They got a couple other cars. Ryan Wayne's up there. And this looks, knock on wood, if you have any available, to be the tamest restart we've seen in a good number of laps. I heard that. Thank you, guys. I have any available.
It's IKEA wood, so
hold on. Yeah, it's not real wood.
Yeah, so we'll see if we'll see how effective that is later on. But
it wasn't almost.
Reiching trying to hold on up top. John Holiday down low. Ryan Wayne looking to make the run up top, with Gudger also wanting to get into the mix as the field drives are down in the turn numbers before Reiching goes around, spun on the back straightaway all the way down to the inside of the racetrack. Caution comes out, a single car spin, and I think Joshua Burke may have actually had an incident as well at the same time.
I can tell you Reiching is not happy.
No, really?
John Holiday has claimed responsibility, by the way. I can say that as well in the driver's radio. And I mean, that. Sorry, I'm ears I can't repeat, but this felt like it was happening for a while. Like, this is not a surprise. This wreck had been happening, had been forming. Here's a 24 up in the wall, by the way. This is unrelated to the caution.
That's a hardware failure for sure. That's somehow not a yellow flag.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna say this out loud, and I can't repeat it. Ted Reiching needs parked. That's inappropriate. There's some words in there that rhyme with luck and cluck and fire truck. That they're repeatedly being used at people. That's not appropriate. Watch this wreck though.
You did a very good job on getting around us the PG way.
I watched Sesame. Well, never mind. There's the wreck right there.
Yeah,
I started to say I watched
tracked up in him.
I watched Sesame Street. That'd be the adult version of Sesame Street. But I can rhyme pretty well. I have a way with words.
Tell you what, he did a good job to keep it off the inside wall. He locked it down just fine.
Yeah, he did. In fact, didn't hit anything. That's.
I mean, I'd call that a win in of itself, but.
He's not. I can tell you that.
Holiday, Wayne, Lane, May. Well, try saying that 5 times fast as they're all in the pit road.
Yeah. Oh. This is going to get only more crazy, sadly, as this race goes on. We're now going to have about 13, 12 laps to go when we go green again. And remember, I said in the beginning of this race, it's really a tale of two races, right? For anyone not named Bailey or Kilroe, your only goal tonight is to win. And so you're going to make moves trying to win the finale. You want to carry some momentum as much as you can into the next series. And look at that. Bailey here is still ahead in points.
You know, honestly, if I'm Dalton Kilroe, I'm getting really frustrated with these cautions. I mean, yeah, 1 or 2 cautions helped him get back up on cycle, right? But now they're hampering him because he's not able to fight up to the front with that advantage he's got in the tires.
Or if you're Kilroe, what you're actually probably really hoping for in a weird way is a big caution. I mean, he's already P11. He's not exactly that far back. He's P11. The problem right now is the bonus point for Bailey and the fact that he has to be ahead of Bailey. He can't just he has to beat Bailey tonight.
By a few positions.
By a few positions. But he's right up to P11. I don't want to understate that. So what if you're Dalton Kilroe, you need 1 or 2 things right now. You either need if you go green and let those tires play out if they're going to, or you need something massive. And I'm not suggesting he wants Zane Bailey to be involved, but you would hope maybe you just take out some of the cars between you and Bailey and make that happen here. So we'll see what happens up front. It's still Mark Arthur, and now Michael Gudger is back up front. There's a name we've seen up front throughout the night. Zane Bailey's in third, or yeah, Cody Gibson's in third, Bailey's in fourth, Wellman's in fifth. Then it's Campbell, Rincon, Campbell again, and then McKellar and Larry Bell in your top 10. This is going to get a little bit more wild here. I suspect Michael Gudger will do everything he can to pull away as quick as possible here.
Well, the pack is going to work down the back straightaway. I tell you what, this could still go either way. I mean, one big mistake, and I do hope Zane Bailey gets that chance. I mean, Kilroy knows what it's like to stand on top. Bailey hasn't had that privilege yet. It'd be huge for him to be able to clinch that, but a lot can happen in 14 laps. You'd be shocked at how much can happen in 14 laps as Mark Arthur gets set to take us back.
This is going to be exciting. I'm excited. If I'm Zane Bailey, I'm nervous. If I'm Dalton Kilroy, I'm more nervous. But I'm nervous for both of them up in the booth.
Green flag is back. Mark Arthur getting a pretty good jump on Mark Arthur this time by his Gudger going to be right alongside of it at turn number one. Zane Bailey trying to hold on for third. Cody Gibson has been taken out twice this race, and who would have thought after being spun down almost into pit road not even 10 laps ago that he'd be back up in the top two now?
Yeah, I'm stunned that car is even drivable at this point. I don't get it. Gudger, by the way, lets a car in the bottom, and they went on around. That's Wellman who got up now to P2. Wellman now wants to make the battle. Oh, Gibson almost hit that wall. Oh, contact with Gudger. That time Gibson initiated contact. He did not want to get sandwiched, and he would have had to endured someone to prevent that from happening.
Bit of three wide right behind while everyone else is in a blanket. And I think Arthur might finally be swarmed here as Kyle Wellman's got the run up top. Cody Gibson will try to go with them. Wellman, a driver that has some history here. Contact between Wellman and Mark Arthur coming down to the turn numbers 3 and 4.
Yeah, big contact in fact with those two. Cody Gibson's now back there. Zane Bailey's got to be getting nervous every time he sees the contact, hoping it doesn't happen in front of him. Gudger now pulls back into P5. Dalton Kilroy not that far out of shot. By the way, he's already up a couple spots here to P7. So Kilroy with his new tires are moving through the track.
Wellman now clear for the top spot at turn number 3 behind. Bailey pushed up by Mark Arthur nearly into the outside wall. They're able to gather it up. Gudger's going to give a big shove to the 20 now. Gets him clear. Mark Arthur, I'm sure Bailey is thankful to Gudger for that to get him out of a bad situation there. While Kyle Wellman now under 5 for Cody Gibson in 3 and 4.
It's getting tense, getting exciting. It's getting raucous and full of ruckus right now in this moment. And there it is. There's your top 4. It's Wellman leading him around. Gibson wants that win. He did not get last week. He's going to be aggressive getting it. Zane Bailey wants the title. He needs to sit here and keep in front of Dalton Kilroy. There's more drivers who want to win. This is not over, and I don't think we're done wrecking with the way they're driving.
I agree. I mean, they can't keep doing this for too long. Again, Mark Arthur squeezing Zane Bailey in. Bailey's not having it. He's trying to squeeze him down the inside just as much. Now forced up the racetrack for Zane Bailey, almost up to the outside wall. Stacking these guys up 3 by 3 wide behind. Kilroy's on the bottom, and Bailey, oh, trouble behind. Multiple cars going around and hard into the wall. Kilroy is through, but they're crashing big time towards turn 1.
That had been forming for a while, and I think something happened before. The first thing I saw was Larry Bell scrubbing the wall, but I think there was some contact and some other issues before that. Ryan Wayne still parked up, now he's moving. Was parked against the wall for a while. Yeesh.
And you had said that Dalton Kilroy was going to be hoping for a big caution. That was it right there.
Yep. And in fact, that's going to put Kilroy back up to, well, it says P7 is scoring current. Let's see where they all come around here. But watch up top. Larry Bell scrubs the wall. Does he come back down, or what? How is he getting getting the back end of him? One of the two.
I kind of all started with Paul Witt actually
Oh
getting
no,
to
it happened in front of him.
Yeah.
No, I was wrong. It happened up in front. You're right.
Oh,
And then,
man.
yeesh. McKellar's involved.
Oh, look at the 7 just slipped through the middle there as well.
And Owen's gonna slip again. Look at the bottom of the track. Oh boy, the move's so nice. He made it twice. Yeah. Watch it again. Watch up front here. I was watching Larry Bell in the red and blue. It's gonna happen in front of him. Right there. And then it all breaks loose. Yep. 429. Paul Witt's involved again. That's his second time I've seen him involved. And oh boy.
This is on board with William McKellar in the number 75.
He's gonna have no time to react. Let's watch this. He's gonna get right there. Tries to check up. It's the back of the car. I mean, there's nothing. You could argue that the simple argument, Nolan would be, why didn't he yank it to the left and try to avoid it? But I'm sure there's cars to the left. He doesn't want to hit them. Now here's Kevin Roy. Watch this wild ride in the green and yellow car. That monster logo on the front. He sees the first wreck. Threads the needle. My gosh! And then down the bottom of the track. Not stay high.
I can't
points for that.
Well, I can't exactly fault him for that either, because I mean, we've seen before, the car starts coming back up the racetrack in Michigan, they tend to go up there quickly. And again, I actually remember this being the case in the high tide race when they raced in Michigan here. You had a car go down, spin into the inside wall. Someone thought it was going to stay down. They didn't. Spun back up the racetrack. That car that thought it was going to stay down, T-boned him, ended up barrel rolling into turn one about 3 or 4 times.
100%.
It can happen.
No, I get it. It can. You're right.
Yeah.
And that is the hard part. I agree with that.
At the end of the day, he missed the wreck. He didn't hit anything. Take the W.
Yeah, that move needed one of those kids don't try to home advertisements on it though. Like, you know, that's one of those you could try that 100 times, and I bet that's the only time that combo of moves works without spinning the car or hitting someone or making it worse. Well, let's rack this up and see how we look here. Kyle Wellman did take the lead a lap or two before that caution hit. Gibson's up to second. Gudger's back in third. Bailey's now back to fourth. That's Arthur, Campbell, and Kilrow in P7. Reichkeek's up to P8, despite his tirade about being wrecked earlier. Tanner Mars in 9, and Aaron Mays up in P10. So we're going to go green, I believe, with 4 to go. So any more cautions here, and we find ourselves in NasClassic overtime.
6 laps. We take the green. Gosh, you can feel the tension around this place, can't you? I mean, it just, this race just feels different than most, if that makes sense. I mean, we've got season finales before, right? But this one just, something about this feels like this is going to be one of the wildest championship finishes we've ever seen here for a good while.
Yeah, it's gonna be tense. Yeah, this is gonna. I wanted to go green. I really do. I don't want to curse it, Nolan, but with the way we're racing, with how tight it is, with so much going on, Gibson wanted to get his win back. Wellman wants to win. Bailey wants a title. Killer wants a title. Arthur wants to win after leading so many laps. There's about 9 different stories to tell as a broadcaster in just the top 6 cars alone. It's hard to believe that this all stays under the lid, right? That the pressure cooker just doesn't boil over, that the lid doesn't pop off here one more time before this race is over.
Well, the green flag coming out this time by pace car's off. Kyle Wellman holds the inside. He has been aggressively getting there. No doubt he's going to be aggressive about staying there. Green flag is out once again as Wellman gets on the loud pedal. Zane Bailey already trying to push Cody Gibson up, but how about that? Wellman immediately clears.
Immediately clears. I want to block that run for Gibson. Get up top, gets that momentum running. And here we go around through 1 and 2. There's some. I always say as a driver, what am I thinking? It depends on what driver I am right now, what I'm thinking. If I'm Zane Bailey, I'm praying for this to stay green. I'm praying for nothing stupid to happen in front of me. If I'm Kyle Wellman, I'm praying that Cody Gibson doesn't find the line that he needs to get around me. If I'm Michael Gudger, I'm hoping this stays green. Oh boy, and they're still 3 wide back there.
5 laps the distance here in this one this afternoon. Dalton Kilroe still within 7 points of Zane Bailey, but again, needs to finish several spots in front of him. And right now, he is hammed in by Michael Gudger and Mark Arthur, who are leaning on each other big time for that 4th place spot. Fanning out 3 and 4 wide down the back straightaway. Reikic still in the mix as he is holding the inside of Thomas Lane Jr. Arthur is not letting Gudger get away.
No, and Dalton Kilroe is getting roughed up by this, not physically, but just the time-wise and smoke in the back were all good. Tanner Marr is now going to try to get in line with Dalton Kilroe. They're going to try to help basically draft Mark Arthur around so they can pass him. Let's see if that happens here. But the problem for Kilroe, it's not good enough to get to Bailey or be close to Bailey. You have to beat Bailey, and right now that seems a little more impossible as the laps tick down.
Oh boy, 4 wide down the back straightaway. Reikic, Paul Wick, Campbell, and Lane were all going at it. They're able to get it back down to triple, but that got a little bit dicey going down there to turn numbers 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Arthur still leading on Gudger. McKellar around the top side, and McKellar snipes forth of the both of them. They're both trying to track down, and Kilroe can't find a way through.
I bet Kilroe has some choice words in that car. That moment he just saw right there, because I would have had some choice words. That guy was close right there, because I thought for sure they were just going to clobber Dalton Kilroe.
Well, they're not done yet as we push up the racetrack. Down the straightaway, 1-course turn to the background as we slide down. It's Kevin Roy. Caution is out, and it's overtime.
Ooh. Well. So here's a weird question. Who has fuel for overtime?
What's that, sorry?
Who has fuel for overtime?
Kilroe does.
I know that part. But who else has fuel for overtime? I mean, who else?
I would be the most worried about Zane Bailey. He's going 30 laps, but the saving grace here, with all the cautions we've had, that's a lot of time to be saving fuel. He should have enough.
He hopes so. I hope so too. But I know he hopes so.
Well, I'll tell you what. Kevin Roy's luck finally runs out in the number 7 as he is the cause of the caution. He missed a few of them, and well, this time he's the one that got spun to bring it out.
Gonna get hit by the 11, I think, or let's see what's going to happen to him. Yep, the 11 right there. Tags the back end, on around they go, and this is that thing you talked about. This is the new way of iRacing right here. This is the caution, and that was easier to justify as he does spin in front of the field, but still all the way down there. Caution's out, gets the back end of the car, and caution is out. Well, watch it one more time here for a different point of view, and you see in a minute, there's 3 wide right here. Just people running out of space, people being aggressive, maybe too aggressive in the back of the field. And there he goes, hitting the wall. Well, a thought was in my mind earlier, Nolan, and I sort of hinted at it verbally and didn't get to talk about it, but you know, with 2 weeks' time, the new season of SRA begins. The challenge, though, is it's a brand new car. We're going to go from cars that are typically known to be a little tighter in the setups to cars that are known to be a little looser in the setups in the Gen 4 cars. So I was wondering in my head, if you are Kyle Wellman, if you are Cody Gibson, or anyone who wins this race, can you really say you're carrying momentum into the next season when everything about next season will be different than what it is tonight? And I don't think you can. I don't know what momentum you could carry. You know, you can, I guess maybe some personal morale is what you're happy to have. But I mean, when everything is so different, I don't know how you think you have momentum. I mean, not that you don't want to win, but it's different. Like if we're racing again next week in the ARCA cars, part of me, but I don't know.
I think much like the ARCA cars, it's going to be a completely unknown quantity going into the new season. I mean, you really can't compare one to the other. I mean, they're just so vastly different from each other. I think the only way we're going to be able to figure out what's going to happen is by, well, showing up in 2 weeks and just seeing for ourselves.
So 2 weeks from tonight, we are at Daytona. Where else would you start a season for the oval cars besides Daytona? But before that, so much is happening here, Nolan. We are, I think I counted we're 40 plus shows in the month of August here on Green Flag TV. Tomorrow night, Justin Prince, Emmett Crow back for the Blazing Pedals ARCA League. You'll see Dalton Killer and others in there. You'll be on the call for the boys racing league, the car tomorrow. Monday night, the playoffs begin for the High Tide Racing League at Talladega. Pardon me, wrong super speed in my head.
Close.
And it just right. Yeah. Tuesday night, I believe we're off. I think there's no OMSR on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday night, the doubleheader, Premier Sim Racing, the Beer League. It goes on all week. Average Joe's on Thursday. They just had a great run, by the way, at their first road course in that league. And then we get Friday and Saturday off. So lots more racing this week on the channel. Lots of great action. Lots more ARCA cards. We love those. And many more. So while this race may be winding down, our week is not.
No, it is not. And next week, where we actually don't have any racing on August 5th, 8th, or 9th.
Oh, don't say it out loud. Don't figure it out. There'll be something if you say that.
Well, we don't get days off all that much here. I mean, I think that's the most amount of time off I'm going to have in a week for what, 4 months now, just about.
It's like when a retail employee goes, "Wow, there's no customers here." No, you don't say that. You just let it. Don't figure it out.
I like doing this though.
No, I agree, but a night off is a night off.
For you, baby.
Fair enough.
2 laps. It's overtime. And Kyle Wellman leading the field back to green. Who comes out on top? We'll find out in 4 miles. No, Mar's going to get hooked. Around goes the field behind. Rincone's into the grass.
Oh, green. No, there it is.
Paul Witt is in it. Tanner Marr's in it. They just backed up into each other. Mark Arthur is in it. I think Dalton Kilroy caught a chunk of it, but it looks like he's managed to escape that relatively unharmed.
This is on Nolan Rimple. That whole 4 miles to go thing. Send all complaints and issues to Nolan Rimple because that's yours, buddy. I've jinxed enough the past couple weeks. I'm not laying any claim to this, but watch the replay here. Watch in the middle of the field. It's probably just a bit of a tire spin and a late start. There's Kilroy in the middle of the shot on
outside
the top lane. And yeah, in fact, I think he part of it, honestly. Like, it's right there. You see he kind of got into it. There's the 40 involved. Paul Witt is involved down there. Mark Arthur, who led a bunch of this races down there.
Tough break for Tanner Marr, who rebounds off the inside wall and then just reverses right into poor Paul Witt.
Yep.
And that sort of thing, it happens quickly, right? I mean, that happens like that. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Watch it. I mean, it's just so fast. Even under slow motion, it's fast. Kilroy got wiggled. Well, this is it. This is how SRA NasClassic is going to end, because this is our final green-white checker attempt, Nolan. So we basically have 2 options here. We get around to the white flag and we finish this series under green flag, or this series comes to end under a caution in just a couple laps time.
I hope it's under green. It sucks when a championship that's been this close is brought to a stop under a caution. I really hope we go green here.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody's hope for the most part is it stays green. It's yeah, boy, and with Dalton Kilroy involved there, all that's in my head right now, Nolan, is that there's got to be some damage to that car, and it's going to make it hard. Any kind of damage here is going to be tough, and you saw him, involved there. So I just don't know what's going to happen to Kilroy, currently running back in P7. It doesn't look too beat up, honestly, compared to what I thought it may look like from when we saw the replays.
Well, the advantage is that he managed to actually avoid all of the ping pong off each other. He hooked a guy, but that's really about all he did. So I think he may have gotten away with that, and I know that is extremely lucky by those standards.
Yeah, there's a lot of ping-ponging in that restart back there. A lot of, I think, people trying to predict the start. I think Kilrow tried to predict it, and I think Reichert tried to predict it behind him, and then it just kind of, honestly, all hell broke loose from back there. So I think the only person hoping this probably ends under yellow is Kyle Wellman. Kyle Wellman would be thrilled to win a race. He'd love to win it under green. I'm not suggesting otherwise, but listen, when you're trying to win a race, it doesn't matter how you win sometimes. You win under green or yellow, you get the victory and the W nonetheless. So that might be the only driver hoping that this ends quickly, but everyone else, Cody Gibson, Zane Bailey, Michael Gudger on back, really wants us to stay green. They want a shot at winning at Michigan.
So now it's the final restart. Now it's for sure 2 laps and 4 miles to go in the season. I gotta be honest. I think this championship is Bailey's to lose.
100% would agree with that. 1,000%. You're right. I mean, this is Bailey's to lose. This is race management time for these 4 miles. If you see anything that resembles smoke, if anything that resembles car contact, anything that resembles anything, it is your job to avoid it. Do not throw this away with 4 miles to go. Do not be aggressive. Do not do anything silly. I mean, Dalton Kilrow's right behind you. So if you get caught in a wreck here, if you get spun to the grass, if you make contact with someone, if you try and make a pass and it doesn't work, this is going to get crazy. This is going to get wild, and it could end poorly. So, if you're Zane Bailey, race management is key.
3 and 4. Drivers will downshift into the second gear. Kyle Wellman bringing the field back. 2 laps to go from the Michigan International Speedway as the green flag comes back out once again. Wellman gonna get a good launch. No wheel spin from the field this time around. Bailey trying to push him clear as we're into turn 1 for the penultimate time this season.
There we go. Now this is getting the race we want to see. He saw Bailey wants to push Wellman. He wanted to make sure that he was clear and that Wellman was clear. Wellman up in front of Gibson. Gibson and Gudger trying to get around Wellman. Bailey all by himself in that bottom lane. Down the back straight, penultimate time. All looks good. Kilrow digs inside. He wants to make something happen, if anything. He's going to try and get up here. He'll make it 3 wide down to the corner. Bailey, though, shut that door on Dalton Kilrow.
Oh, contact those Bailey and Ryan Wayne up the racetrack. Blocks Dalton Kilrow down the front straightaway. This is for the championship here. Kyle Wellman takes the white flag. This championship finishes under green. Kilrow trying to go round the outside of Zane Bailey. He might get the spot. Now he's going to pick up enough. No! Bailey takes him out! Bailey takes him out! Dalton Kilrow sent into the wall! Jim Kovensberger is back in it! Dalton Kilrow's going to spin down the back straightaway! Oh my goodness! Kyle Wellman comes back around into turn numbers 3 and 4. Michael Gudger trying to close from behind for last honors of the championship. Kyle Wellman comes home to steal a win in Michigan. And in controversial fashion, Zane Bailey takes his first SRA championship, but he did it by putting his own competition in the wall.
Boy, there's a lot to process, and that's what I'm trying to do in my head right now, and just trying to step back and let the goosebumps settle, let the hair just kind of sit back down on my arms and kind of process everything in that last lap. I want to say right now that I don't know that it matters in the head of Dalton Kilrow. I do not believe that Zane Bailey did anything intentional. As we're going to watch the race winner, he deserves this credit in this moment right here as Kyle Wellman ran an incredible race, and he's going to unfortunately probably win a race that no one, this will not be the headline for Kyle Wellman, unfortunately, that he won this race, but I don't believe Bailey did it on purpose. I think that was just a heat of the moment, racing hard, don't want to give up a spot. You know, I don't know. This is going to be, wow, this is going to have to be a review of this by race committee. Watch it again. Here they are. They're going to come down the front straight. Bailey all the way to the apron. And going to come up here a little bit. Going to try to chop off kill row. Bailey all gets bumped in the back by Reikick right there. And then Bailey's almost not able to hold the bottom of the track. And that's not a surprise, because we saw all night long that bottom of the track doesn't provide all the grip and all the stuff you want it to. And then Killer then gets involved with Reikick and others in that moment. I don't know. This is going to be interesting.
Dear.
There's going to be some debates, some words, some thoughts, and some other things. So right now, I mean, Kyle Wellman's celebrating. I believe Zane Bailey for the moment is celebrating as well. And listen, I'm not saying he shouldn't. Won the title, had a great season. It's unfortunately going to kind of be painted in a brush from the finale. And I get why, but again, that I think it's just the style of racing, Nolan, of what this track offers. And I know for Dalton Kilra, that doesn't matter to you right now. I know you're mad, you're angry, you're hurt, you're a little bit of everything all wrapped up in one. This is just the style of racing you give to ARCA cars at Michigan. I don't know what else to say.
Well, with all of that said and done, we will get a chance to take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon. It ends in tears and controversy here this afternoon, and the championship comes down to Kyle Wellman taking home the win, Gudger back in second, Ryan Wayne in third. We'll talk to them as well as your champion at the tail end of this one. Cody Gibson brings it home in fourth, Aaron May in fifth, Willie McKellar in sixth, Cody Witt, the new champion, in seventh, Zane Bailey in eighth, Kevin Roy in ninth, George Rincon down in 10th. John Buwalda Jr. finishes in 11th, Mike Campbell in 12th, Paul Witt in 13th, Lane 14th, Arthur in 15th. Kilrow right behind Ted Reikick closes his championship out in the wall with Coensberger, Holiday, and Campbell for the top 20.
Yep, and then moving back here, I mean, Marr, Bell, Snyder, Burke, McGuire, Austin here. I mean, these are cars that didn't finish, but again, it's hard to think about anything right now than the last lap of that race and just the implications, the feelings, the emotions. No one wants it to end this way.
No one could have seen that coming either, entering the final series of corners here. We'll look to speak first and foremost with Kyle Wellman here at the tail end of this one. It was a wild, wild ride for Wellman. We'll save our championship interview for last year in this one, as Kyle Wellman comes home number one. And Kyle, this race had its moments, and this is a hard-fought win for you. But how does it feel to take honors of the final win of the NasClassic season?
Feels good. I joined the season a little late. Felt really fast right from the get-go, and it finally paid off right in the last race of the season.
It was far from an easy race. We saw the aggression was high from you and other drivers all night long here this afternoon. Did this race, I know it got pretty physical at some points on the racetrack. Do you reckon that was down to this being the last race, or just a product of the car at the track?
I think it's a product of the car and the track. Just everyone knows what you can get away with. We know that we can kind of slap the wall a little bit, or other drivers, and not have too much damage and still be good. And it's just old tires, new tires, doesn't fully matter when you're in a pack like that.
Well, Kyle, you are able to walk away with the race win here this afternoon, the final win of the season as well. Gen 4 action, though, just 2 weeks away. Will we be seeing you back here on Saturday nights?
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I love the Gen 4. I wish it was a little more loose like the original Gen 4, but still love the car.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck when we return to racing action then in 2 weeks at Daytona. Congratulations on taking number one, and we'll see you in the new season.
Yeah, thank you.
Kyle Wellman comes home number one, and Derek, you have caught up with our second place finisher, Michael Gudger.
Yeah, the driver last week, we kind of joked he kind of wished July would never end. And, well, what a great start it was to August, Michael. I mean, you led a couple laps tonight. You come home on the podium in a very wild and chaotic race. So while July was good to you, August looks to be good so far as well.
Yeah, would have liked the win there, but we just couldn't get the momentum going on that green-white checkered. It was going fine. Second's a good thing, man. I was blocking Ryan like absolutely crazy there. I was blocking like last 10 laps like crazy. It was oof, man, you just gotta protect that top line because it's nigh impossible to pass on the inside. But man, that oof, close racing. This car sucks. Dirty air is absolutely horrid. Makes it impossible to pass. And I am not going to miss this car, and I am very much looking forward to Gen 4 starting in 2 weeks.
Okay,
But
well,
other than that,
you just
good
want to kill
run
the rest of
tonight.
the interview. No, I'm kidding. So
Good run tonight. I'm just happy to be here. Very fun. That was a lot of fun racing, though. Even despite the dirty air, it was still so much fun racing.
So I do want to ask though, all kidding aside, you had mentioned the dirty air. I was curious, is there really anything in retrospect you think that you could have done on the green white checker that would have put you up front, or do you think that was just kind of not happening due to where you were?
Starting second instead of fourth is like the only thing that I could think of, but there's nothing I could have done about that. If you're second, you can get. If Cody Gibson in front of me had just gotten a better start and was able to keep side by side, I definitely could have had a shot at it. But just how it goes sometimes. I was trying to push him as hard as he could, but Kyle was able to get clear and slide up. So just unfortunate, but hey, second place is still really good. That was still a lot of fun racing. Had a lot of fun tonight, and hopefully we'll roll into Gen 4 with some momentum.
There you go. Well, listen, Michael, it's a pleasure watching you race, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Daytona.
Alrighty, thank you.
That is Michael Gedger coming home in P2. I'm going to go and grab Ryan Wayne, our P3 finisher. Ryan, I feel like the word for this race tonight is just chaotic, just wild and crazy. That's what it felt like up here in the booth. Did it feel any different behind the wheel?
Yeah, it was pure chaos behind the wheel. It felt like the outside line was predominantly dominant line the whole time, and staying in a draft was so important just to be able to make passes. And I know a lot of guys on the radio were complaining about dirty air trying to make passes as well. So that was a pretty chaotic race for the most part. I'm just glad to come out of here with a podium to end out the season.
Probably had to come out of here with a clean-looking race car as well, given all the cautions we saw tonight. Of course, now we retire this car inside of the SRA League. We're going to move to the Gen 4 car in 2 weeks. Are you excited to move to a different car, or what's the feeling about that?
I'm not sure if I'm going to run the Gen 4 car yet. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to participate in that league or not. The ARCA car was definitely different for sure this year. I prefer the trucks personally over the ARCA car just in terms of maneuverability, but yeah, I'm not sure for plans for the Gen 4 car.
Fair enough. Well, listen, it was a pleasure watching you race. Congrats on the podium, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that is Ryan Wayne Nolan. He comes home P3, and I think that leaves just one interview.
It sure does, as we'll look to catch up with your new champion here at the end of the night. It's going to be Zane Bailey. Zane, you have been trying to fight for this first title for a very long time. I know the last couple of seasons it's been rough at the end of just having one thing or another go awry right at the 11th hour, and it hasn't gone your way. Today, that championship is finally yours, but it comes in a controversial manner on that final lap. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that to him. I mean, he was just pinching me down there. I really didn't have a lot to go, anywhere to go. So yeah, I'd hate to win it this way, but he just wasn't giving me a ton of room down there.
Overall, a hard-fought race this afternoon. The points margin was always going to be slim entering tonight. We talked to you earlier on in the race. You mentioned you were just trying to kind of run your own race, focus on what was going on around you and what you can do more. Was the points ever a major concern going into the final race with you?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely keeping an eye on where he was throughout the night, because I knew it was going to be very close. So yeah.
Well, regardless of what might be said, a championship is still very much a championship here this afternoon. Well, we got another season coming up right in 2 weeks, right? It's the Gen 4 series. Are you going to be back to defend that crown?
Yeah, I'm probably going to race Gen 4. I've never raced Gen 4 before, so that's going to be interesting. I don't really know how good I'm going to do, but I'm going to try.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck when we return to race in action. Congratulations on taking home the championship regardless, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep, thank you.
Zane Bailey comes home number 1 in the points here this afternoon. And, well, Derek, we do, in fact, have one more, and it is the driver that comes home second of the championship.
Yeah, I told you to start the race. I thought this could be a tale of 2 races, and now it's a tale of 2 interviews in a way. We come from interviewing Zane Bailey, who's the winner of the championship, to the driver who thought he had a shot, I think, in the last lap of the race, Dalton Kilrow. I'm sure the emotions are high. They're full of words, but what can you tell me right now about what's in your head?
I'm just glad I'm done, because that's to win a championship that way. That's certainly not how I'd like to do it, and finally work my way up after some early shenanigans from some other people, and finally have a shot back at it. And nope, we're just not even gonna let you have a lap to try and do this. You're just gonna go spinning into the infield and finish in the back. So I'm glad I'm done, and it's just absolutely pathetic.
I do want to ask this though, and I think I know you enough to know this, but I want to put this out there in the ether, clarity. Like, obviously frustrated, obviously annoying, and any other word you want to pick out of the thesaurus to do that, but you don't believe there's intent behind that, I hope.
I don't necessarily think he intended to go in there and wreck me, but it's the fact that it's just everything that's happened. It just
right
then looks good, and I know even if I had a teammate behind me pushing me and giving me a shot like that going into the corner, I would have at least tried to race for it clean and not just say, you know what, don't really care, because that's what it certainly felt like. Because especially for somebody that's racing for a championship, you would think you're entering that shallow into the corner with somebody pushing you. You'd think you'd be smart enough to lift out of the throttle and not send it as hard as he did for being that shallow, and just didn't happen. So I'm glad to be getting away from it and done with these guys.
Fair enough. Well, for you, the weekend or the week or however you want to phrase it, it's not over. Tomorrow night we'll see you with Blazing Pedals, where you're currently, leading that points battle with your teammate Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Monday night we'll see you start the playoffs for High Tide Racing League on Monday at Talladega. So maybe some brighter races and brighter memories to look for up ahead.
Hey, that's the hope, but they're both draft tracks, so we know how that's going to end up being. So hopefully don't get caught up in other people's crap tonight, tomorrow night and Monday.
All right. Well, listen. Well, I know it hurts. There's no words to say to make it better. It's always a pleasure watching your race, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
That is Dalton Kilrow, and Nolan, from a broadcaster standpoint, what comes to mind is I feel like you got the Joseph Newgarden in Indy 500 interview, and I got the Pato Award interview in that moment.
Pretty much, right? I mean, it's 2 very different outlooks on a race, and of course, all of them down to just how the individual race panned out for them. This championship was always going to be an interesting one. There was always a good chance that it was going to end in controversy, and boy, it did this afternoon. Whether or not there's going to be anything that comes up as a result of this, well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll find out more over the coming weeks or so. But for the time being, those are the unofficial point standings exiting this championship, with Zane Bailey finishing up by 13 over Dalton Kilrow. His first championship, but didn't win it the way he was necessarily wanting to. But Derek, 2 weeks from now, we go back to Daytona and get set to do it all over again.
Yeah, rack them up. New season, new opportunities, likely some new drivers, some new outlooks, and so it'll be very interesting to see. As you said, right now, as we go off the air, Zane Bailey, your champion. I don't think that changes. I would be stunned if that changes. Dalton Kilrow is going to come home P2 on back. So this is hard. We always want to end the season on a positive note and be thrilled and be happy and celebrate, but this feels just kind of more somber than some season endings.
Well, regardless, you still got a new season coming on up in just a little while. Before we get to all of that, there's still more action yet to come on Green Flight TV. Tomorrow night, it's a doubleheader with the Blazing Pedals ARCA Series alongside the For the Boys Racing League for round number 5. High Tide Racing League kicks off playoff season at Talladega on Monday night. And then, of course, it's another doubleheader with the Premier Sim Racing Sim Game Expo Truck Series alongside the Beer League over on Wednesday. All of this and much more coming up on Green Flag TV with over 40 shows throughout the month of August. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, you are free to check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. It's not quite the storybook ending that Zane Baylor was hoping for, but a championship regardless, and no matter what, he'll have to defend that crown when we go racing at Daytona once again for the Gen 4 Series. My name is Manolo Rempel alongside Jared Watson. Thank you all so much for joining us over here on Saturday night. One chapter closes, another one just 2 weeks away from opening up. We'll see you all when we go racing 2 weeks from today as we get set to swing down to the world center of racing.